Dear students, I have come with a new module, rules regarding performance of the contract. There are certain accepted rules who should perform the contract, whether it's the promisor or promisee who has to take the initiative. These rules are guiding the legal rules. Now, let us see party who is expected to perform the contract. One is the promisor. I am promising a publisher that I will write a book. It's my duty. I have to perform the contract. I have to complete and I have to inform the publisher that I'm ready with the manuscript. Agent. If I have to pay my housing loan, it's either it can be credited through the bank, either it can pay through that my online payment, or it can be credited my debited from my salary. Anything is possible, but it is also possible that I can send an agent, anybody, to go to the bank and make the payment. An agent can perform that. It is also possible. My physical presence is not required in such a case. Whereas my physical presence is needed, my skill is needed, I cannot leave that to agent. Next is legal representative. Somebody has promised to do something. So that person dies before that completing the contract. That meaning his legal representative should decide whether they want to go ahead with that. But here also it's important, if it's a musician, his skill is needed in performing that. That meaning his legal representatives may not be that competent to perform the contract. They cannot do that. If his skill or capacity or capability is not required, his legal representatives can do that. Say for example, if a person has to repay a loan with the bank, his skill or capability is not required. His legal representatives can close that loan by repaying with the bank. Now third parties. See, sometimes third parties can perform the contract. A person who has no relation with the contract. Say for example, I borrowed money from somebody. It is not necessary that I have to go and make the payment. I can tell him that from whom I borrowed money, I can tell that I am sending somebody else to give that money. So that third party has no relationship. My agent, my employee, somebody I am sending to repay that loan. It is not necessary that I have to personally go in. But one thing is clear, I am making sure that I am telling that person from whom I borrowed money, I am sending so and so to repay that amount. My physical presence is not required. So these are the parties expected to perform the contract. Now persons entitled to demand performance. Who all can demand performance? One is promisee. A promise to marry. See, A agrees to marry B. So the B is the promisee. A is the promiser. So B has every right to demand performance. Second is legal representatives. If the promiser dies before completing the performance, the legal representatives can demand performance. Third is time and place of performance. Where it has to be performed, what time it has to be performed. This has to be decided based on certain points. So time and place of performance is decided based on 5 points. Now what are the 5 points? So first is time and place of performance. No time is fixed and no application is made. So time is fixed, no time is fixed and no application is made. See for example, it's a casual thing. Promiser and promisee. So that is just exchanging it, buying a consumer durable from the neighbors. They decided they are going to sell in consumer durable. No time is fixed and no application is made. They can mutually decide when they want to exchange that item and make the payment, because here time is not fixed and application is also not made. So they can mutually decide when they want to do that. Second is time is fixed but no application is to be made. See, when we buy something online, they will ask you for the slot specification. That meaning the time you will decide. Today you want fast, quicker delivery, or you want within 30 minutes, within 60 minutes, or you want it the next day. The slots they will give. Time is fixed. That meaning in that slot you will get the item delivered in your place. Then application by the promisee. Some cases promisee has to demand. See for example, I want to buy a house. So I have discussed. But I am telling the party who's going to sell the property that I am telling that I will arrange some money, then I will contact you. That meaning the discussion happened, but it's my duty. Now I am the promisee. I am going to buy your house property. But here I have to remember that it is my initiative. I have to take the initiative. I have arranged the bank loan. I have arranged the required amount. So I am going to start the discussion about how we will settle the issue, how we will transfer the property. So here I have to take the initiative because I already indicated to the promisor that I am going to buy your house, but give me time to decide. Give me time to make arrangements. Next is place for performance where no application is made with place. See, place for performance. Sometimes where we are going to do that. Where is the place where we are going to do that? So that place, if they have to decide, the promisor and promisee, they have to decide the place where they are going to make the performance. So that sometimes if it's within India, if two people living abroad, NRIs, they will decide, they will mutually discuss one contract when they will come to India. So when they will come, what time they will come, when they are going to, which month, everything they have to decide, what time. So the place, though they are living in a foreign country, when they'll come to India, they will mutually agree and they will perform. Then manner of performance, how we are going to do that. That you can decide. If there is nothing, time is not specified, application is not specified. Now how manner, you can decide, the mutually they can decide how you want to specify. Within usually what we take is usual business hours. That is the usual manner of business or manner of performance in the case of official performance. Any business organization, what they will do, official business hours, see for example, if you want to do something with the university, usual working hours, if it's 9 to 5, within that time you have to do the performance. So that is the manner of performance. If it's lunch break, we should not disturb them. That meaning guests or customers are not allowed at that time. We cannot go and disturb them at that time. So within the office hours, that is, we have to do that. Now, no time is fixed for application is made. Section 46 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. Promisor has to perform the contract. I already explained that. No time is fixed for and the application is made. This is explained in section 46 of the Indian Contract Act. So the promisor has to perform the contract and within the reasonable time. So I have already explained that. Second point is time is specified but no application is to be made. This is explained as per section 47 of the Indian Contract Act. Time is specified and within the regular business hours. I told you when what we are buying in online. This is explained as per section 47. Next is application by the promisee. This is explained by section 48 of the Indian Contract Act. Promisor and promisee agree by consent. I told you. I am telling you that I will buy the house property, but I have to make arrangements. So that is, we will again, when I will arrange everything, money, that documents or whatever I want to arrange, bank loan, everything, then I am taking the initiative to meet the promisor and discuss. We will mutually agree by consent. Now, place of a performance where no application is made with place. Place is not decided. So, section 49 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 is giving the guidelines regarding this. Promisor should ask promisee to fix the place and time for performance. I told you, one contract is discussed by two NRIs living outside India. So they have discussed, they want to enter into a contract. So they will decide later when they will come to India, what time they will come to India, when they want to perform the contract, how they want to perform the contract. Now, manner of performance. Section 50 of the Indian Contract Act is specifying that as per the Indian Contract Act 1872. So, contract to be performed as per the terms of the contract. So, that is, they will, manner of performance they will discuss because they have not decided anything in advance. So, both the promisor and promisee will consent and they will decide. So, who can, the manner, time and manner of performance is discussed in section 47 to section 50 of the Indian Contract Act. So that will be the guiding principles in deciding the manner of performance. Now, what is the effect if it's a joint promisee? Joint promisee in the case of partnership firms and all, we have to remember that it's a joint promise. So, whom we have to perform that? See, contract to perform to one promisee is as good as perform with the joint promisee. See, for example, a partnership firm run by two partners. So, here you have to remember that if you are giving a promise to the partnership firm, you can approach one partner, you can settle that because that is equivalent as you have completed the contract with the partnership firm because both the partners, they work in equal capacity. So one partner you can contact and it is the partnership, they will decide that the contract is completed. Some cases you have to remember that contracts need not be performed. So performance become impossible. See, a war declared between two countries or government changed the policies all of a sudden. So the contract is becoming impossible. Usually this will happen in the case of a liquor contract. Liquor contract, or then they will immediately government will, or Netherlands. You see that the country itself is planning. They are banned. They are going to ban the sale of cigarettes. So that meaning it is not possible to sell cigarettes in that country. So this we have to remember that performance becomes impossible. So if you have entered into a contract with that country to sell to import or export cigarette for a number of years, that contract will automatically become impossible because government has decided. Now, new contract is substituted by the parties. Imagine I took a loan from a bank. I lost my job. I'm not able to repay. This happened during COVID time. Many people who lost the job, they approached the bank. They gave the moratorium. They gave the extension of time. So if you want to, you are approaching the bank saying that I'm not able to perform, I'm not able to repay. So the bank may sometimes, the same loan agreement they may continue, or they will write a new loan agreement with different conditions because of the delayed payment, your default in the repayment. Next is remission of the contract. Remission of the contract meaning reduction in the contract. See, for example, life imprisonment, that is reduced to a 1 year imprisonment or 2 years imprisonment. So sometimes remission of the contract. That meaning actually a person has to prepay 1 lakh to the bank. He lost his job or due to health condition, he is not able to repay. That meaning his legal representatives are going and requesting the bank, and the bank is giving some reduction in payment. They are agreeing with 75,000. They will consider it as, if the other family members are able to pay 75,000, they will consider it as the loan is fully paid. So that is remission, reduction in the liability. Next is contract becomes illegal. Contract becomes illegal. Say for example, sale of drugs, consumption of drugs. Anything in our country is illegal. If anybody enters into contract without knowing this, everybody should be aware of the consequences. See for example, countries like Singapore, Dubai and all. Even if by mistake, if you are having some substance, banned substance in your luggage when you're traveling to that country, you have to face the consequences because legal rules are very strong there. So that is contract becomes illegal. You are not allowed to do that. Contract is illegal. Then promisee neglects the promiser to perform the contract. You entered into a contract, but the promisee is not able to. See, if it will happen in the case of marriage contract. See that they were in relationship, but then girl went into another relationship. So this promiser is asking when we can get married. Girl is not showing any interest because she already developed another relationship. So the promisee is completely ignoring the promiser. These type of instances we have seen. That meaning, in this case, promisee neglects the promiser to perform the contract. It can be for delivery of goods also. See, for example, supply of goods. The terms and conditions are not equivalent or not justifiable for both the parties. A supplier regularly supplying to a restaurant. So then the onion prices increased or tomato prices increased. He's informing the owner that he needs more amount. The owner is not ready to do that. So the regular supplier, he may neglect the owner's phone calls. He may not supply the item because his request to increase the price as per the increase in the price of onion or tomato, the owner is not able to compensate or to give the consideration. So that the promisee will neglect. He will not attend the phone. He will not supply the item. That meaning contracts need not be performed because there was a request that was not considered by the promiser or the owner of the restaurant. So these are the instances where contracts need not be performed. This is what I want to explain in this module. Happy learning. Thank you.